Hello, good people. Welcome back to the channel. I am so happy to be here today with Nicole. She came in all the way from Japan, but we met each other actually when I lived there for a couple of years and she still lives there. But she's on tour right now with NieR Automata, and I am so glad that we're able to have an interview in person. We've been messaging her for years, being like, we need to do an interview. What's your email? All those different things. And so we're finally able to do it actually in Chicago, and we're here at Studio Shapes, which is an amazing studio here for recording and doing podcasts and all those different things. So you should definitely check them out. I will put the link below. They are amazing people, and I am definitely happy to have them here. So you're on tour.
Yes, ma'am.
How are we feeling?
Amazing, honestly. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Everything's going really smooth.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time.
Yeah. She's on tour with NieR Automata, which is a video game for Square Enix. Mm-hmm. But what platforms is it on?
I want to say it started on like PS4, I think. Yeah, and now it's spread, like it's on like PC and all that stuff too,
like Steam and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have personally never played it, but I've asked a number of friends. But listen, we might need to try it out, okay?
I've been told I shouldn't because I might cry like during every concert. Yeah. So I might wait.
Wait until the tour is over.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? We of course know that you grew up partially in Nashville, partially in Japan.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit more about your background, sort of how you got into music, and a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. So as Ella said, I spent part of my childhood in Japan. Yeah. I was actually born in Texas. Yep. My dad's Air Force. We ended up getting stationed in Japan when I was 3 and stayed there till I was 12, then moved to Nashville. But even in between then, I was always kind of back and forth to Nashville. Like during the summer, I also lived there briefly for like a year when I was like 8. Yep. So Nashville and Japan both, kind of half and half have always been home. Yeah. But as far as like my background in music, my grandfather was a famous singer in my mom always wants me to say that.
Yes, listen, I'm here for it.
Yeah, so he was a famous singer in like the 50s and 60s. Yeah. His name is Gene Allison. Check him out.
Yeah.
And so that kind of is what started it all. Yeah. And then like my mom got into the music industry when she moved to Japan, along with my dad. They were in like bands and stuff like that. Yeah, well, it was adorable. It really was. Yeah. So we always kind of just had music in our household. They were always rehearsing. Yeah. When I was little, sometimes I would kind of like peek in on their rehearsals and I would learn their songs. I would just eat up everything, just soak up everything. Yeah. And then once my dad retired, they got into music full time. Nice. And it was always my dream to go back to Japan because that's pretty much where they stayed. Mm-hmm. Although me and my siblings were like, we moved like to Nashville and we were kind of there, but they would always come back and forth. Yeah. And I told my mom, like, I want to get into music as well. Mm-hmm. And she was like, finish high school, finish college, get your degree, and you can come to Japan. So that was the deal. And that's what happened. Like after college, I went to Japan and I tried my luck at it. Yeah. She would take me on all of her gigs just to introduce me to people and, just like, this is my daughter. She can sing. Give her a chance. Yeah. And things kind of went up from there.
That is amazing. And I know you've had multiple opportunities, as you mentioned, to perform with them. Mm-hmm. I think most recently I saw you performed with your dad, but I know you performed with your mom as well. And so that's just so incredible that you all get to do that internationally. I'm sure there are a lot of people who feel like they want to do that as well.
Absolutely.
So I am just so happy for you with that and that it worked out. So let's talk about your personal career, your music. You've released a number of singles, Bay, Black Girl Magic, my personal favorite. Also, shout out to Ebony and Imani, who are in the video, and a number of other amazing Black women who are in Tokyo. And then in 2021, you released your album, This Is Only the Beginning, with that same song on there. So tell us more about preparing for that, how you felt about it, and now 2 years on, sort of what you're thinking about it now.
It was a journey, honestly, because I released Black Girl Magic in, I think, like October of 2018. Yeah. And so my goal actually was to release the album like May of that year.
Oh, yeah.
And things just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back because I don't know how to produce like my own music. So I'm always having to rely on other people to like, like for production and for beats and stuff like that. And it was hard. Like I kept having to like find new people to work with. Or like maybe I was working with this person and then things just, kind of took a turn and then I had to like, just keep moving and just keep searching. Yeah. So finally by 2021, that's when things came together. I found the right people and everything worked out. And it's not perfect. I call it my pancake. Like, you know how like when you're making pancakes, that first one is always kind of like, we'll get it right the next time. So I feel like this is my first pancake, and I'm happy with it.
Stack them up. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm happy with it, but at the same time, I know I can do better. So I'm just ready to like, get back in the studio, make more music, and make it better. But I do have my favorite songs on the album.
Yes.
Let Me Love You is one of my favorites.
Agreed.
Preach is also another one of my favorites because I love rock music. So I kind of want to like mix and like dabble with that, like kind of like what do you call it, like alternative, like alternative R&B, and kind of like mix it with rock, and that's kind of what I'm exploring.
For it.
Thank you, because I'm really still trying to find my sound, and I feel like that is something that I wanted to explore more.
Oh, so exciting! I love the pancake analogy. I think it was a great first pancake. So we're only stacking up from there.
Absolutely.
And you should be very proud of it. And I understand, like, it's not easy to get an album out, right? Like, we're in the studio and we were talking to some folks who were here and they were all like, it's coming. But like, it takes a long time. You got to record, you got to listen to it, you got to mix it down, you got to make sure it's like the right vibe. So take your time. It'll come in time. But I think it'll be the right timing the next time something comes out. Yeah,
I hope so.
So one of the things, and we talked about this briefly before, we started the interview, that I noticed is the way that you relate to music is almost physiologically or, I don't know, chemically, whatever the word is, different, right? So you use it obviously to express yourself. And I think a lot of artists do this, but the way that it impacts you and the way that you are able to express yourself with it just seems to be like genuinely part of you. And obviously, you mentioned that you grew up around it and you grew up with singers and naturally in your bloodline because of your grandfather, right? But tell us a little bit more about what music means to you and how you use it to express yourself.
To be honest, and this is going to sound a little dark, music, I feel like it keeps me alive, honestly. I've definitely had like a history of, maybe this is TMI, but like I've had a history with like mental health and everything.
Same. Listen.
Right? And it's kind of my therapy. Like like writing music, listening to music, singing, all of that. It's literally my therapy. And I feel like without it, I really don't know where I would be, honestly. So that's kind of, I think that's where that comes from. Also, like, so another thing I didn't mention earlier is like my brother is a producer as well. Okay. So growing up, we would kind of like create little songs, little silly stuff together as well. And so it's almost a member of the family. If you think about it. Like,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like it is literally physically and physiologically and a part of you, like in your DNA.
Yes.
And I can just tell by the way that you express yourself on social media and the way that you express yourself in your lyrics and things like that, especially in like the one song, In My Own Little World, like that one I think really encompasses music is like your world. Like, it is your little world.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for noticing that, because most people kind of like look over In My Own Little World because it's like the intro. But
the intro.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But it's definitely, it's like my world. And it's like when I'm listening to music, creating music, I literally get into this space of like nothing else. Nothing else really matters at this moment. Like this is what I'm focused on.
Yeah. It's therapeutic for you.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember in high school when I was painting, that was when I fell into it. Like I just would get into this like meditative state almost with it. So it sounds like that's exactly.
That's exactly it.
And thank you for sharing about the mental health aspect. I think that's something that, we don't have to dive into it too much right now, but it is something that I think, especially for Black women, we're taught to not talk about it or think about it really. And like, we're just supposed to be strong and all these different things. And so I appreciate you. Like, pray about it. All right, I'm gonna go to church and then I'm gonna go to my therapist. I'm gonna do both. So I appreciate you sharing.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to tour. So you're here on tour with NieR Automata. But you've been on tour with some of the biggest names in Japan and the US, Kubota Toshinobu, Ashanti, Ryuji Imaichi, HIRAIDAI. Like, you have been on some of the best stages in Japan and around the world.
Absolutely,
so, tell us about that. Tell us about how this is going and how you feel about touring. Yeah,
it's going pretty well. Like, the interesting thing is, I moved to Japan in 2012.
Yep.
And again,
that's when I first moved there too.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
2014.
Wow. So you were not there long at all.
No, I was there 2 years. But we met probably like, did we meet through Ebony?
We did.
Yeah. And then we were at that Black History Month. It was probably her birthday dinner.
Yeah.
And then there was the Black History Month event and all that stuff. So,
So, that's when I moved there. Yeah. And I was literally just like, going with my mom to her gigs and, She was like, please give my daughter a chance. And then by 2015, I got my first tour.
Nice.
So like 2.5 years,
Yep.
I would say is how long it took for me to like, get to that point. And even that came, thinking about it is just like, wow, how did I do that? Because basically, through my mom, I met this guy named Philip Wu.
Okay.
Philip Wu is, I mean, if you can think of any famous person between like, I would say the 70s and like early 2000s or so, maybe 90s, he's played with like all of them.
Okay.
Just about.
He's a musician.
He's a keyboard player. Amazing.
Yep.
So my mom took me on one of his gigs.
Yeah.
It was like at like the Mandarin Hotel or something like that. And she had me sing Lady Marmalade.
Yes.
And
another great one for your voice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And he really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And from there, like he actually took me on a gig for the grand opening of this cookie shop. It was Black owned. It was going to open in Ginza of all places.
Yeah, which is a big deal. Yeah.
It's a really big deal.
The really like, you're in Chicago, that's like Oak Street. It's like Fifth Avenue. It's like Rodeo Hills.
Okay.
Yeah, in LA. Yeah.
Got it. And so the guy who was opening it, his name is Ralph Roll.
Okay.
And he's a drummer, really famous drummer. He played with anybody and everybody, right? So he was playing with Kubota Toshinobu at the time. I didn't know. I had no idea. I was just happy to be on
the
this
right
gig.
timing.
Exactly. I was just happy to be on this gig. And again, I sang Lady Marmalade for this gig as well. And he was also very impressed.
Yeah.
So he actually reached out to me months later.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have an opportunity for you. Would you like to audition for a tour? And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. Like, I don't know. Like, I was really scared and just like, nah, I don't know. And he was like, no, for real, like, just send a video, and I did. And I ended up getting chosen out of like 100 people, I think, or so that auditioned. I ended up getting chosen. And it's just been up from there. Like, I've just been getting like tour after tour after tour. And I think since then, I've been on at least one tour every year since 2015.
That's a lot of touring.
Yeah.
Because like, even like, you have to fly to some of the places in Japan. You have to like travel, and like, luckily they have the bullet train. Shout out to mass transportation.
Yes.
Okay.
I love the bullet trains. Oh my God.
And also, I think we share a fear of flying. So I understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
very bad about it. Yeah. Last time I was flying to Southeast Asia, and we had to go over Japan, and we were coming down, and there was like an ice storm or something like that. And I was like, I am having a terrible time. I had to start doing the patting myself.
What does that do? Like, what?
It's it's a type of like patting and breathing, and of course I'm hitting the microphone probably, but that like helps you balance and like calm down. I'll teach you.
I'm gonna have to learn, because I usually just hold on to the armrest, and my hands just be sweating, and my feet have to be on the floor. If they're not on the floor, then I'm like.
Do you have to also be able to see the flight attendants?
Actually,
see, I sit in the aisle all the time.
No, I can pretty much sit anywhere now. Yeah, it took me a while. I used to not want to sit by the window.
See, if I went on tour, my rider would be an issue, because I'd be like, I have to sit in the aisle seat. I have to be able to see the flight attendants. No, that's not okay. No, it's not normal.
I mean,
no,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
No, I need to calm down. But yeah, I think we also share that. But you get to fly, and you get to go all over Japan. Have you been to all of the prefectures?
Just about, yeah. I believe so.
There's 47. So that's an incredible feat. But yeah, that's so exciting. And the I tour, I was definitely like, oh God, like iconic.
She's definitely one of my favorite artists that I've toured with, for sure.
Like, she's Japanese American. I think she was born in LA.
I don't know if I think she was born in Kagoshima.
Oh, she was born in Kagoshima.
Yeah, and she went to Japan for like, not Japan. She went to LA for like high school, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's an amazing artist. Definitely, we'll put her information below as well. But that one was, I was like, of course you're on tour with I. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about NieR Automata. How did it come about? You wrote the main song for it, Weight of the World. You wrote it. She's a songwriter.
Yeah, there's actually like 3 different versions of the song. There's a Japanese version, there's a chaos language version, which is basically like
the language
made up for the game. Yeah. And then there's the English version, which I created, wrote the lyrics for.
And if you Google it, and if you know the game or anything like that, Janique's name is going to come up. So you will see it. I even have like a screenshot of one of the songs where you were credited as the songwriter too.
Oh my God, let me see.
Hold on, I got a lot of weird screenshots in here, Oh, I guess it is Weight of the World, but it has you as like listed as the first person on there.
Wait, is that like Apple Music or something?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you are definitely credited for that. But tell us about that. Tell us about the song and the game.
So that's another thing. Like I had to audition for that as well.
Yep.
So again, 2012, my mom was taking me on all her gigs.
Yep.
she took me on this gig where we were singing at like this club. And Amy Evans, the main singer for NieR, happened to be on that gig as well. Yeah. And so I sang a few songs, and I guess she also was impressed. Yeah. And we exchanged information, and she was like, let's keep in touch. Yeah. And we didn't actually. For like a good 4 years, we did not keep in touch. But 2016 rolls around, and I get an email from her asking if I would like to audition, you know, for the soundtrack. Yeah. And it was actually offered to my mom first. Okay. But they apparently said that they would prefer like a younger voice. Yeah. So they chose me. Yeah. But actually, the first song that I recorded was the Boss theme. It's called A Beautiful Song. Okay. And it's, if you listen to it, it's very, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's definitely very like opera, like,
is it supposed to be like the boss level?
Yeah, it's like the boss level.
Like you're fighting a boss? Or
yes,
something like that? Okay,
exactly that, exactly that. So it's very emotional. It's very,
You're going through a journey at this point.
Yes, really, exactly. So that was the first song that I recorded, and that was part of the audition. Yep. And they were like, yes, we love it. Okay. Yep. And then they gave me the opportunity to write Weight of the World. And that was a journey too, because, you know, I was writing the lyrics based off of like kind of the outline that they gave me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anything about the game. Right. Never played it. Didn't know the characters, didn't know nothing at all. Yeah. And so I was like, you know, I kept sending them drafts, and they were like, this is good, but can you change this? And it was just like, oh, this is never going to, like, you know, I'm never going to finish. Yeah. But, you know, eventually after about, I'd say the third draft, they were like, yeah, this is perfect. Yeah. And recorded it. Yeah. Recorded like 3 other songs, and then I thought I was done. You know, I was just like, okay, we recorded the song. We did it. Yeah, that's it. We made a video game. Yep. And about, I would say like a month or so later, I see like an announcement, basically like on social media, and it's like Janique Nicole has been announced as like the singer for like this theme song of NieR Automata, and I'm like, oh,
like y'all gonna tell me? Like,
yeah, like everybody's like, congratulations. I'm like, what are you congratulating me for? It's just a game, like not that big of a deal. Yeah. And then they're like, we need you to sing for this concert. And I'm just like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. Like, it was a lot. Mm-hmm. And so everything just took off really fast. I started like gaining a lot more followers on social media, and people are like in my DMs, like, oh my God, like, you know, you changed my life, and
that was my follow-up question.
Me. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh my God, like to this day, I'm still just like, huh? Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Like, where did this come from?
Yeah. I also haven't played the game, but I know about it because of you. And I've seen the fans' reactions. I know we were talking before, and you were saying that the fans are incredible, and they are like your favorite.
They're the best part.
They're the best part. And so shout out to the NieR Automata fans. But also, the orchestral nature of the music and all those different things. It sounds really beautiful. So maybe I will go play it or listen to it at least. But very happy that worked. And I love how you're talking about how, like, you know, some things, or like the origin was 2012, but then months later, years later, like it all came full circle, and you sort of started to see the connections and like why things happened the way they happened.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of times people are, you know, they're like, oh, I should be here, I should be doing this. And it's like, trust the timing of your life.
Absolutely.
It will, like, even this interview, like we were trying to like, I was like, I'm going to email her. And
since what, like 2020, I think?
Oh my gosh, definitely a while. And I'm going to interview her and do it. And I saw you were coming to Chicago, and I was like, we have to do it now. So I think that's a reminder to everybody, is like, trust the timing of your life. It's all going to make sense at some point, why you met that person, why they thought you were the right person for it, right? Like all of that. So I love that you're talking about that. What advice do you have for young women, young Black women who are thinking about getting into the music industry, and especially thinking about Japan, or just in general?
I would say kind of same thing like that you said. Definitely trust the process. You know, there's no like timeline. There's no mold that you have to fit in. Like when you go, just be patient, but also, you know, network, be nice to everyone. Like that's another thing. People can be so, if they don't know who you are, if they don't know what, you know, you can offer them or whatever, sometimes they kind of act funny. Don't do that. Like just be sweet to everyone. You never know who you're going to meet.
No transactional relationship.
Nothing. Yes, absolutely. I would definitely say that. Yeah. Also, go to as many like open mic nights and jam sessions as you can, because that's the best way to also meet musicians and like, you know, for people to say, oh, okay, I remember you from that. I'm looking for a singer. Can you do this? Yeah. And
of course, you speak a little bit of Japanese. I think that's partially helpful, but you don't absolutely have to.
You don't have to, because I'm definitely not fluent. But I do speak, like I can read, I can write. Maybe not kanji.
There's 4 parts of language, right? Speaking, writing, listening, and reading, and you can do them.
Yeah, so I can. I'm good at listening.
Yeah.
I'm not the best speaker.
Yeah.
And I'm not really good at reading kanji, but I would
sing in Japanese.
I do sing in Japanese. Romaji usually.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Listen.
But as long as you learn katakana and hiragana and maybe I would say like 200 kanji.
Yep.
I think you'll be all set.
Yeah. I'm sure there are a lot of people that want to learn the language, and so I was obviously, as someone who loves languages and loves Japanese. I think that's really
How did you learn, by the way?
I learned so my first year of college. I went there for a month, and it was on like a mini study abroad. And I decided, up until then I'd only spoken Spanish, and I was like, Spanish is going to be my whole thing. And I went there for a month and I came back and I was like, I want to learn Japanese. And so I went and took the classes, and then I actually did really well in the classes. And it was sort of then, so this is when I was turning 21 or so, I realized I was good at languages. And so I studied it all throughout college, and then moved there, of course, and then came back and continued it. And you were marking my phone's in Japanese, which I know upsets people because like
sometimes why does it upset them? That's what
I'm saying. I don't want to do with you, but like I guess like sometimes when I have to show, like I had to show the IT person at work the other day, like my phone, she's like, it's in Chinese, and I'm like,
that's Japanese,
but it's fine. Or like if I react to something, because I have an iPhone, if I react to something, it comes through in Japanese, and I'm like, oh, what is Ella saying now? But it's how you keep up your languages. Like you have to, like, like you want to learn Spanish, you keep it in Spanish. You know, like all those. My Facebook is in Spanish. My phone's in Japanese. But anyways, that's how I learned it. And it's been opening up so many doors. Obviously,
I'm sure.
So many different ways. Future goals, collaborations, things you want to speak into existence.
Okay, future goals. I wanna come back stateside, at least to kind of like live in between Japan and the States. I don't know where specifically. I was considering like LA or it's too cold.
This is a plug for Chicago. We're like the music city. How many artists did you meet when we came in here? Like at least 3 or 4.
You're right.
I don't want to say his name, but you know, yeah.
However, Nashville is Music City, technically. It's literally Music City.
Y'all, but
it's
like
literally Music City.
But like Chance, you know.
You're right. Y'all got some people.
Like Michael's close. Kanye.
You're right. You said Michael's close?
No, Michael's close. Michael's close. Here in Indiana. Yeah. I mean, it's basically Chicago, right? So.
Girl.
I don't want to be funny.
If God leads me to Chicago, then I will.
And that's part of the plan. So I'm introducing her to a bunch of people. We're going to dinner after this. We're going to figure it out. And I'm going to make the plot. I'm going to make the plan.
We'll see. We will see.
That's fine. That's fair.
I will explore. I mean,
you're used to being between countries. I feel like you can be between cities.
So if, I could kind of be a nomad and just kind of float.
Maybe we could get like an airline partnership. And then like, that way you can just like fly. You like ANA.
Yes. Because I'm
ANA United.
Because I have like a mileage plus with United.
Same. That's where my miles are. United, call us.
Please. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a goal.
Yep.
I'm obsessed with Issa Rae.
Yeah, listen.
So
I met her when she came to Chicago. She signed my book, Awkward Black Girl. Listen. And I think I tagged your song in one of her for Insecure for
I think I remember that.
I definitely have been tagging it in different things. But
so my dream is definitely to have one of my songs in her shows. But I don't know if you know this, but I want to get into like acting and stuff too.
No, I didn't know this.
Yeah. So that's a dream of mine.
I love this for you.
Yes. So like
okay, so we're calling Issa, we're calling United, we're calling everybody.
So those are goals. As far as like future collaborations, I haven't gotten there yet. Yeah. We're still, kind of in the present right now. Yeah. We're doing the tour. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. I do have another tour coming up at the end of this year with Kubota. Yep. I'm really excited about that. Okay. Otherwise, this is the year of exploration for me. Like I'm not really doing any other tours. Yep. My plan after the NieR tour ends is actually to kind of stay in the States and just kind of like, explore see what's out here for me. So if anybody watching this, y'all got some jobs,
listen.
Like if y'all, got some opportunities in entertainment, let me know. Yes. So that's what's going on with me.
I love that. I'm rooting for you, as you know, and I will do my best to convince you to at least come to the States, but maybe come to Chicago often. You love makeup. You love Hello Kitty. Please teach me how to do a cut crease. I'm just smearing stuff on. I sometimes can do okay, but the cut creases, you have to see her makeup. Please check out her social media. Where can we find you on social media? I'll put it below.
I'm at Nicole on Instagram and Twitter, and I believe I'm like Janique Nicole Official on TikTok.
Yes. And you have like 2 Facebook pages, I think.
Yeah, so I have like a personal one and then I have a fan page.
Yeah. So we've got all the ways to find you and find your makeup tutorials.
Yes.
Like you do them before the shows too. You'll show like how you get ready.
I haven't done them for the tour yet because I'm trying to like get used to it first.
Yeah.
And I'll be like real anxious before the show. So I'm actually thinking that for this show I might do
Chicago.
Yeah,
Rosemont.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, where's my theater?
I mean, but once again, we're so glad you were able to make it. So glad we were able to have this conversation, reunite after like 10 years.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yes,
this was fun.
Yeah,
this was a lot of fun.
So much. And now we're gonna go to dinner. Sorry, you can come to dinner next time.
We hungry.